This Christmas, Jake decided to play a game with his sons. He would only give them their Christmas presents if they could win at his game. He would ask them a series of questions, and they would get as many gifts as they answered the riddles correctly. Jake asked his first son, Gabriel, "What do snowmen call their offspring?" Do you have any idea how to answer this riddle? They call them children. Duh. Then Jake asked his only daughter, Julia, another question. "Knock, knock," he said. "Who's there?" she answered. "Tree," Jake said. "Tree who?" Can you guess the answer to this riddle? It's the Three Wise Men. This one was definitely hard. His kids were doing so good that he decided to switch it up a little. He asked his son Aaron, "What do you call a disrespectful reindeer?" What's the answer here, huh? Well, let's see. A disrespectful reindeer is a Rudolph. For his last question, he asked all of his offspring together, "Where do Santa and the elves go to swim?" What do you think they answered? The North Pole, of course. On one of his trips, Santa brought with him some delicious walnut cookies. He kept them in a jar, waiting for the perfect moment to eat them. But one day, he got home from a day of work and found that his cookies were gone. He decided to interview his elves to find out who might have eaten his cookies. The first elf told Santa that he was making peppermint swirls with Mrs. Claus all morning. The second elf said he had spent the afternoon making homemade peanut butter for Christmas Day. And the last elf said he spent the day keeping an eye on the reindeer so they wouldn't fly away. Santa immediately knew who had eaten his cookies. How did he know? Take a look at the second elf's tongue. It's completely swollen. Elves are allergic to all types of peanuts, swollen from eating the cookies. Plus, his alibi is fake. If he had spent the day making peanut butter, he would have gone to the elf hospital for sure. At Somerville Middle School, the teachers decided to play a prank on their students to make the holiday season more cheerful. The principal announced on the speaker that there was a robber on the loose. The robber was dressing up as Santa and robbing laptops inside the school property. Students were told to beware. At the end of the school day, 5 students had photographed different people dressed up as Santa around the school. Take a look at the photographs. Can you figure out who the fake thief is? The thief is the second Santa on the left. Take a look at his shoes. They're much bigger than the other shoes. He must be hiding something inside of it. In 3 different parts of the world, 3 Santa Clauses are getting ready for their big night. They're about to leave the comfort of their homes to go and distribute gifts all around the world. Take a good look at the image below. Which Santa isn't ready to leave? He's the one in the middle. He still doesn't have his belt on. He can't leave without his belt. And speaking of spotting the real Santa, take a look at these 2 chimneys. Can you tell who is the real Santa? Take a look. The guy on the left has huge legs, and there's some green fur poking out of his pants. It must be the Grinch. The real Santa is the guy on the right, that's for sure. Daniela is a new detective in town, and there's an urgent case for her to solve. At night, someone robbed a mall and stole all the presents prepared for the winter show. In the morning, the videos from the security cameras were analyzed, and the police found 3 main suspects. All of them were interrogated. Bernard said, "I have nothing to do with it. I came from work yesterday and was watching football until I fell asleep." Samuel said, "Today, in the evening, I was so tired, so I just went to sleep and you woke me up." And Jason said, "I was studying all night for my exam in the afternoon." Who should Daniela arrest? Both Samuel and Jason look very tired, but only Jason has a valid reason for not sleeping. But Samuel called the previous day today by mistake, which means he probably didn't sleep at night and there was no difference for him between the 2 days. It was definitely him. Santa arrived in LA to give out gifts for children in the region. He parked his sleigh on top of a family's home and traveled down their chimney. He left their gifts under the tree and decided to check if the family left some cookies for him to snack on. He found the dinner table set with delicious meals: candy canes, hot chocolate, gingerbread, and a turkey. Can you tell which food doesn't belong at a Christmas table? The turkey. They're usually eaten during Thanksgiving, not Christmas. Well, in some homes. On January 1st, Devin called the police to report a crime. He says he went to his neighbor's New Year's Eve party the night before, and during that time, someone must have broken into his house and stolen his laptop. When the police asked about the party, Devin said it was great. There was good food, and the tree lights in his house were shining brightly and beautifully. Devin added that he thought that his neighbor could have been the one that stole his things. Maybe he snuck inside the house when Devin was at his place having fun. The police officer went next door to interrogate Devin's neighbor, Tom. However, as soon as Tom opened the door, the officer knew he wasn't guilty of the crime and also that Devin was lying. How? Look at Tom's Christmas tree. There are no lights, meaning it was probably not even working on the night before. Devin was lying. He probably just wanted to get some insurance money. 4 Santa Clauses were flying aboard a commercial flight. But just before the aircraft was about to take off, the airline got an anonymous call saying that someone was trying to smuggle illegal goods into the aircraft. So they had to check everyone's bags. Each bag went through the X-ray machine again. The first Santa was carrying an extra pair of wigs, shoes, and costume. The second Santa was carrying shaving cream, a book, and several naughty or nice lists. The third Santa had a stash of money, a laptop, and another wig. And the fourth Santa was carrying a few gifts and some gingerbread. Can you guess which Santa is a criminal? It's the one carrying the shaving cream. Santa never shaves his beard, so he must be hiding something inside it. Jenny ran into her comedian friend on the street during the holiday season, and he was on fire, asking her to answer all of his riddles. The first thing he asked Jenny was, "Why is Santa really good at karate?" "Because he has a black belt." Way to go, Jenny. Then he asked her, if December 31st is the end of the year, then what is the end of Christmas? The letter S. Well, that sounded obvious. For his grand question, he asked Jenny, what do you call a person who is afraid of Santa? The answer? Claustrophobic. Christmas is just around the corner, but you received a letter saying you didn't make it to Santa's nice list. You were naughty all year long and are not getting any presents unless you prove you are filled with Christmas spirit. Now, what would you say is the best way to do that? Praying, dancing in the middle of the street, or singing Christmas carols? Well, it's definitely the last option. Carols are the best way to spread Christmas cheer. Merry Christmas! Molly invites her best friends over for dinner. Rose, Bianca, Tom, and Stan. Everything goes great. But in the middle of the night, Molly notices that one of her books is missing. This item is very special. Molly hides all her cash in this book, and she has never told anyone about it. Molly questions her friends, but each swears to have nothing to do with the theft. Can you help Molly spot the thief? It's Tom. He's sitting on the stolen book. Detective Tina has received multiple cyber fraud reports this week. People complain that all the money went missing from their bank accounts. Detective Tina heads out to investigate this case. She meets with 3 robbed witnesses and asks them to show her their phones. She expects to find some kind of bug or an app. What do they have in common? All of them have the same app. Bella is visiting India. She leaves her bags in the hotel and goes to explore the local market. Suddenly, a stranger approaches her and offers to buy some gifts. "Madame, I inherited these treasures from my ancestors. They're thousands of years old." Bella gets very excited. She loves rare souvenirs. Bella studies these items carefully and gets furious. "You're a fraud!" How did she know? Take a look at this statue. He's wearing headphones. This golden dish has an engraving, made in 2002, so it can't be thousands of years old either. And now, take a closer look at the necklace. It consists of US 1-cent coins. Back then, no one knew what they looked like. Chelsea is riding a scooter in her favorite park. Suddenly, someone throws an apple at her back and she falls. Chelsea looks around and finds 3 suspects. She decides to question them. Glenda says, "I was just feeding this cute little squirrel and taking pictures." Brittany says, "I just sunbathed on the grass and read a book. I didn't even look your way." And Sergey says, "I filmed a podcast for my followers, so I didn't look around. Maybe the apple just fell from this tree by accident." One of them is guilty. Can you guess who? Chelsea got hit by a red apple with a yellow price tag. But the apple tree, mentioned by Sergey, only has green apples. Meanwhile, Brittany has a bunch of red apples in her bag, and they have similar yellow tags. Uh-oh, busted. Will goes to the restaurant with his friends, Mike, Crystal, and Alex. He orders his favorite cheesecake. He grabs and eats 1 strawberry from the top of the cake, and then remembers, "Oh no, I didn't wash my hands. Can you guys please look after my dessert?" After a while, he returns and finds out that his plate is missing. Will questions his friends. Mike says, "Sorry, I received an urgent call from work and went outside." Crystal said, "Your cake looks so delicious that I ordered my own. I didn't see what happened because I also went to wash my hands." And Alex says, "Sorry, I left the table to get this lady's number. I think she's my soulmate." Who took Will's cake? Take a look at Crystal's plate. The very same strawberry that Will took from his cake is missing. So it's probably his dessert, and Crystal is a liar. Someone drew a pentagram on the floor in the principal's office. Can you guess who tried to curse him? It's the janitor. There's a paint stain on his uniform, and similar symbols can be found on his cap. A pop group is traveling by high-speed train. They're going to a big concert in another country. Everything is going great, but suddenly the lights go out. Someone's moving around in the dark, and everyone hears a woman screaming. Finally, the lights turn on again, but one of the singers, Kelly, is missing. The local conductor finds her phone on the floor and questions the witnesses. Jill says, "I was at the other end of the car, and then it got so dark. I don't know what happened." Sam says, "Kelly was next to me. We talked, and then she disappeared." And Paul says, "I felt sick, so I sat down and closed my eyes. I heard something, but I didn't see anything." Who's lying? Jill. She said she was at the other end of the car. Then why is her hair clip lying at the crime scene? Can you find 10 differences between these two pictures? Ready to see the answers? Here they are. What about these cute little plants? Can you see 10 differences between the two pictures? Time is up. I'll bet you failed to spot all 10. Here they are. What about these two images? Can you find 10 differences? Let's take a look at the answer. The police have long tracked Jake. They suspect him to be involved in diamond smuggling, but they don't have any evidence. They decide to thoroughly check his luggage. Jake comes to the airport with a small briefcase. What's suspicious about it? He uses an electric razor. Why does he need any shaving cream? The diamonds must be inside the tube. Billy takes his family to a safari park. Can you spot anything odd? Giraffes don't have horns, and lions don't wear glasses. What about this picture? Can you see what's wrong here? This flamingo is wearing fancy shoes, and the elephant has 5 legs. Oh my. Can you find the fastest tap by eye? The second one. Let's make the task a little harder. Here's a new set of taps. Can you guess the fastest? The first one. Which runner will score the goal? Only the third runner can make it to the final point. Here's the route he should choose. Can you find these 5 items in this picture? Here they are. What about this huge pile of things? Can you dig out these 5 items? Ready to see the answer? Over here. Can you find the right piece? Only the second one fits perfectly. Rob's wife decides to prank him and changes a 6-number password on their safe. She leaves a clue so that Rob could crack the code. Can you help him? Take a closer look at the hint. There's an alphabet with 4 marked letters, but we know that the password consists of 6 numbers. To crack the code, we need to count each letter's position in the alphabet. A implies 1, E 5, J 10, and M 13. So the final code is 151013. Tilda is cooking a love potion. She found a recipe in an old spell book, but unfortunately, the last 3 ingredients are encoded. Here's a hint to crack the first one. I can sometimes be a stick, but I don't come from a tree. I can be spread on your toast. I'm a product that's dairy. Any idea what it could be? Butter, or as they say in Brooklyn, butter. Here's a hint for a second ingredient. I can be small, I can be huge, and very hard to snatch. Carve me out, put in a candle, and light it with a match. What is it? It's a pumpkin. Hey, even I got that one. And now let's try to decode the last ingredient. This thing comes as a small grain, but it's neither rice nor sand. It's often used when cooking, so that food doesn't taste bland. What might it be? The last ingredient for Tilda's love potion is NaCl. Oops, I meant salt. Lily gets an invitation to a wedding party. She comes along and sees 3 weird things right away. Can you spot them too? Take a closer look at the bride. There's a zombie hiding under her skirt. Also, there's planet Earth in the sky instead of the moon. And the clock is going counterclockwise. Well, that's all goofed up. Molly is chilling in her bathroom after a long working day. But can you see anything odd here? She's using a burger instead of a regular sponge. You want fries with that? A dog show competition is taking place in the town. A golden retriever named Toby wins gold. But after the contest, a janitor finds Toby lying unconscious backstage. Detective Tina arrives at the crime scene in 15 minutes. She asks the suspects just one question. What were you doing within the last 15 minutes? Harry, the owner of the rival golden retriever, says, I was brushing my dog. I wanted him to shine like a diamond at the contest. Sandra, the local photographer, says, I was taking pictures of the dogs and their owners. Mr. Frank, the judge, says, I was talking to the reporters. And the janitor, Frank, says, I found Toby and called 911 right away. And then I just left him with his owner and went to clean the toilets. Who's lying? Harry. Why would he need to prepare his dog's hair? The contest is over. Lisa breaks her nail and goes to a beauty salon to fix it. There, she meets 3 manicurists. One of them is an imposter. Can you guess who? It's the third lady. She's using a teaspoon instead of the regular manicure tools. Just another ordinary day in the office. But wait a minute. Can you see anything odd? The lamp doesn't have an electric cord. What about this picture? Anything weird? This businessman is holding an artist's brush. Kyle is a policeman. He enters the local public laundromat after work. There, he sees a crying woman. She yells, "Officer, please help me. Someone stole my clothes. It was my favorite suit." Kyle interrogates 3 suspects among the clients. Lisa says, "I spent the last 30 minutes here, but I always watch movies on my tablet while waiting, so I didn't look around." Ryan says, "I just arrived here to wash my own bed sheets. You can check my bags if you don't believe me." And finally, Nina says, "I had a video call with my boyfriend while I was waiting for my laundry to dry. I didn't have the chance to look around." Who's lying? Lisa. Take a closer look. Her tablet is broken and shut down, so she couldn't have been watching a movie. Can you spot any ghosts in this picture? How about over here? What about this area? Can you spot any ghosts? Hello? Peter is a famous travel blogger. He gets an invitation to visit the fanciest secret beach in the world. But the map has a twist. Can you help Peter choose the right route? Only option B will bring him to the final destination.
Are you ready to find out what social media you would be? Let's start. 1. What makes you the happiest? A. Traveling or shopping. B. Helping others. C. Learning new things. D. Spending time with my family. Option A brings you 30 points. B is worth 20 points. C brings you 10 points. And D is worth 40 points. How long can you survive without your phone? A. 10 seconds. B. Years. I'm not attached to it at all. C. As long as it takes for a new notification to pop up. D. I check it once an hour and feel fine. If you picked A, add 40 points to your score. If you went with B, it's worth 10 points. C brings you 30 points, and D, 20 points. 3. Do you have many friends? A. Not really. I'm focused on my success and self-development. B. 1 or 2 since high school. We're still very close. C. Plenty of them. We meet up often. D. I used to have many friends, but we don't see each other very often. A brings you 20 points. B is worth 30. C is worth 40 points. D brings you 10 points. 4. You've got your first really good bonus. What do you spend it on? A. That designer bag or watch I've been eyeing for months. B. I'd book a trip somewhere for my family. C. I'd invest it in something to make that money work. D. I'd transfer it to some charity. If option A is your choice, you get 10 points. Did you go with B? It's worth 40 points. C brings you 20 points. D is worth 30 points. 5. Do you follow the news about celebrity life? A. Nope, don't really care and never have. B. Only when the title is super catchy. C. Absolutely. I have to know all the latest gossip. D. There are a couple of celebrities I like and follow online. A adds 10 points to your score. B is worth 20. And C is a 30-point option. D brings you 40 points. What is the goal of social media? A. To express yourself, generate cool content, and get followers. B. To get motivation, to learn and grow. C. To always know what others are up to. D. To speak up on important matters. If you chose A for this one, you get 20 points. B is worth 30 points. If you went with C, add 40 points to your score. And D is worth 10. 7. If you were a movie character, would you be A. A princess waiting to be rescued from the tower. B. A superhero saving the world. C. A villain who scares everyone but becomes good in the end. D. Some cute bunny with huge eyes. A brings you 20 points. B is worth 10. C is a 30-point option. And D gives you 40 points. 8. What do you do first thing in the morning? A. Check my social media, of course. B. Drink a glass of water and do some exercise. C. Send a good morning message to all my group chats. D. Go for a walk. A adds 40 points to your score. B is worth 10. C, 20 points. And D, 30 points. 9. How easily do you trust people? A, quite easily. They haven't let me down. B, it takes me at least a year to really trust someone. C, I don't trust anyone at all. D, if someone close to me says you can trust this person, I believe them. If you went with A, add 40 points to your score. B brings you 20. C is worth 10 points. And D is a 30-point option. 10. Do you answer messages and comments from strangers? A. I have private accounts and only friends can message or comment. B. No, I block them immediately. C. Yes, if it's something meaningful and friendly. D. Of course, I like to get into online fights. A gives you 40 points, B 20 points, C 30 points, and D is worth 10 points. 11. Would you quit your job if your boss had opposing views on something important to you? A. Yes, my opinion is the only right one. B. Only if they make me publicly denounce my views. C. No, I just pretend to agree with them. D. No, I try to adopt their point of view. Option A brings you 10 points, B 20 points, C 30 points, and D 40 points. 12. Now, open the settings on your phone and tell me what takes the most of its memory. A. Photos. I have 2,000 photos of my cat alone. B. Videos. I still need to edit and post them. C. Messenger apps. D. Games. If you choose A, you get 30 points. B gives you 20 points. C is worth 40 points. And D, 10 points. Time to sum up your points. If you scored 120 to 190 points, you're Twitter. You have an opinion on everything, and you aren't afraid to share it with others. When someone doesn't agree with you, you're happy to explain why you're in the right. You won't back down, even if it's someone with more authority. You like to learn the news first and believe no information is useless. You're witty and your jokes are smart and sophisticated. Those who ended up with 200 to 250 points, it looks like you're a walking Pinterest. You have great taste and like to make the world around you a prettier place, from your phone wallpaper to your backyard. You always have some cool ideas on where to go and what to give someone for their birthday. You like to sort things out into groups. Order is really important to you. Did you get 260 to 310 points? Congrats! Your inner social network is Facebook. You have a broad spectrum of interests and you like to learn from different sources. You put a lot of your time and soul into staying close to other people. You always find a kind word for everyone and genuinely care about their issues. People often ask you for advice or just share with you because they know you're a great listener and have a lot of life experience. If you have 320 to 370 points, looks like you'd be Instagram if you were born a social network. You never say no to an opportunity to go somewhere new or some new people and take a selfie with them, of course. You're a visual learner and you feel happier when you see something beautiful or cute. You always like to know what's going on in the lives of others and never get bored of seeing their breakfast choices. Those who got 380 to 430 points, put your hands up and jump forward. Now freeze! Yes, we're filming a TikTok dance here because that's your inner social network. You're full of energy, love a fast-paced life, and don't hold on to the past too much. You're brave enough to experiment with new approaches and formats. You're a fast learner, and if someone can't get to the point instantly, you get easily bored. In case you came to the finish line with 440 to 490 points, LinkedIn is the social network for your personality. You're goal-oriented and know exactly what you want. You see other people as prospective, useful connections for your career. You like networking, but never share anything personal. It's rather hard for you to let people close, and you can only show your true self to your old friends. You like to analyze things and make plans. If you have somewhere between 500 and 550 points, you like watching videos so much, YouTube is basically your second self. Your interests are diverse, and you are equally excited to find out how to build a log cabin and why there are little triangles above some windows on the plane. You find comfort in the voices of your favorite vloggers and like following instructions. You're a great team player, and the community means a lot to you. Those who got over 550 points. What was that sound? Looks like you got a new message on WhatsApp. It is your kind of social media since you're super communicative and like to share literally everything with your family and friends. You feel uncomfortable when you don't have access to your phone for some reason. You worry a lot about your dearest ones and need to hear their opinion before making any decisions in life. Want to check how well you know the animal kingdom? This fun quiz will help you. You'll need to guess if the statement is true or false before I reveal the truth. Don't forget to keep the score and share it in the comments. The head of the flamingo has to be positioned upside down when the bird eats. What do you think? Could it be possible? Yep, that's the truth. You'll always recognize flamingos by their specific position. They tend to stand on one leg in shallow waters. They have to use the bristles located on the top of their beaks when they want to filter the muddy water they accidentally take along with the actual food. That's why they eat in a way where their head goes down. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to filter their meal properly. Do animals have fingerprints? It's true, animals do have fingerprints, but only some of them, like koalas, gorillas, and chimpanzees. The other name for fingertips is dermal ridges. They increase friction when we touch a certain surface. When you increase the size of the contact area between the surface and the fingers, it's way easier to hang on to things and have a firm, safe grip. About 5 million years ago, before primates started to move upright and left trees, they needed to have an extra strong grip. They had to leap from tree to tree without falling down or be able to grab a rock or some other tool they needed at that moment. Coolest thing though? Koalas have fingerprints so similar to those of humans they can actually taint crime scenes. Here's a relatively easy one. Do wolves howl at the moon? Well, this one is a myth. Wolves do howl at night, but what else are they supposed to do if that's the time when they're the most active? Again, they do look up while howling, but not because they're looking at the moon, but because this helps the sound travel farther. This way, other wolves can hear them even when they're more than 7 miles away. This is how these animals communicate. Wolves even have a specific sound they use if they lose their pack. Opossums are such nice animals, and they look so cute while hanging on their tails. But do they? It's just a myth. Once this animal is completely grown, it can't support its weight for more than a few seconds. The opossum becomes too heavy and they can't use its tail this way. But these animals do use their tails for balance, to hold onto tree branches when climbing. The goldfish has a 3-second memory. True or false? Although that's how they're pictured most of the time, it's a myth. These fish can actually remember stuff for months or even years. Overall, goldfish are pretty intelligent animals. If you feed a goldfish at one side of the tank all the time, it quickly learns it needs to stay on that side if it wants to get food. Also, if you show it that pushing a blue paddle will get it a reward, which is, again, food, and pressing a red one doesn't, a goldfish will learn pretty fast what to do to get its meal. When a dolphin is asleep, half of its brain is awake. Is it true or false? This time, it's not a myth. Dolphins are marine mammals, but they breathe with the help of their lungs, unlike fish that breathe through gills. Dolphins can hold their breath for a really long time, that's true, but they still need to rise up to the surface to get some air. That's why the dolphin's brain is never fully asleep. It needs to have enough motor control at every moment so that the animal is aware when it has to go up to the surface to take a breath. Dolphins also have one eye open all the time they're asleep. Parrots are selfish and greedy. They're not into sharing things with other members of their species. This is a myth. It depends on the species, but many birds, including African gray parrots, always selflessly help each other out. They're truly and honestly motivated to help others, even if other birds aren't actually their friends. Some people are sure that ghost crabs can use the small teeth they have in their mouths to growl. What do you think about this? Is it true? Well, it's a myth, but half of it is true. These crabs indeed growl, but they do it using their teeth in their stomach. They can intimidate other animals with their claws, but when that doesn't work, they produce scary sounds with the help of the teeth that are in their stomachs. They have 3 main teeth, 2 lateral and 1 medial, that are hard and elongated, and they belong to the gastric mill apparatus in the crab's stomach. These teeth also grind up food by rubbing against each other. Your dog has fewer taste buds than you do. Tick-tock, waiting for your answer. It's true. It may seem that your pet has a similar dinner time experience as you do, but in reality, these animals actually have a different arrangement of taste buds. Dogs only have 1,700 taste buds, whereas humans have close to 9,000. But they still can distinguish the same 4 basic tastes, and they're not fond of salt. Speaking of dogs, they are colorblind. True or myth? This time, it's a myth. A lot of people believe that dogs see in black and white, which is not true. Pooches also see blue and yellow, which kind of makes them colorblind in the same way some people are. Dogs have 2 types of color receptors in their eyes, while people, on average, have 3 types. Hens don't have teeth. There's this old saying, rare as a hen's teeth, which isn't exactly how things are in real life. Hens can grow teeth. They had chompers about 70 to 80 million years ago. Even though those are gone now, hens still have the necessary genes, which means they can potentially regrow their teeth. If cows had stripes like zebras, flies would have avoided them. Could be, or not. This one's true. Cows deal with pesky flies all the time. And zebra stripes are some kind of a natural bug repellent. It seems that the stripes work as some sort of disguise. It messes with insects' vision and confuses them. Optical illusions baffle us in a similar way. Speaking of cows, do you think they're social animals or ones that prefer to avoid others and enjoy their own peace? They're creatures with strong social ties that love being around friends. One study from 2013 showed that it was really stressful for cows to be separated from their BFFs. Aw, don't we all feel like that? The octopus has 2 hearts. Or does it have one like we mammals do? Neither is correct, because the octopus has 3 hearts. These animals use 2 of their hearts to pump blood to their gills, and the 3rd heart transfers blood to other parts of the body. If you think that's unusual, what will you say about the fact that octopuses have 9 brains? Besides the central brain, they have a mini brain in each of their 8 arms. This helps their arms act independently. Here's one more fact about these animals. Their blood is blue. That's because the protein in their blood that carries oxygen around the body contains copper. Octopuses can also taste with their arms and move at a speed of 25 miles per hour. Polar bears have the thickest fur of all animals. Would you agree with that? It may seem like that at first. After all, they need a lot of protection to survive in such harsh conditions. And still, this is false. The fur of the polar bear has 2 layers and is designed in a way that traps air right next to the skin. That's why their skin remains dry. Cool! Bulls get angry when they see the color red. True or false? You're definitely not alone if you think they get angry when someone waves something red in front of them. But the truth is, bulls are actually red-green colorblind, just like other cattle. What really triggers them is the movement, not the color. If you touch a frog or toad, you can get warts. You've probably heard it many times. Sounds a bit far-fetched? It actually is, because it's a myth. And it probably appeared because many toads and frogs have bumpy, lumpy skin. And people used to think these bumps were contagious. As for warts, they're not something animals and humans spread to each other easily.